This is the Bass Forecast bait breakdown on the Ned Rig. In this short video, we're gonna cover these 5 topics: key features, top tips, matching forage, rod, reel, and line, and hook set. So let's start with the key features. The Ned Rig is comprised of just 2 components, a jig head and a small soft plastic. By small, I mean 2 to 3.5, maybe 4 inches, and characterized by little to no appendages and little to no action. And putting a Ned Rig together is so simple. Let me show you. Step 1 is to take your jig head either with a weed guard or without. Find the place where the hook starts to bend, and that's where you're going to poke the hook out when rigging your soft plastic Ned Rig bait. Then thread the bait as straight as you can, and voila, you've got a Ned Rig. It's that simple. The retrieval on the Ned Rig is so easy, but I see anglers complicating it all the time, so here's how to keep it simple. Step number 1 is to make a long cast and leave your bail open. Let that thing hit the bottom. And once you're sure it's on the bottom, you can then start your retrieve, which looks like this. Reeling in all your slack, but keeping the rod tip relatively high, and then just kind of shaking and hopping it off the bottom. I'm talking 5 to 6 inches max off the bottom, sometimes dragging extra slow, hopping extra slow. Are you catching my drift? Extra slow. And no matter what the Bass Forecast recommended retrieve speed is for that day, it's all kind of relative when it comes to finesse lures like the Ned Rig, because fast with a spinnerbait is way different than fast with a Ned Rig. So don't start reeling your Ned Rig through the water column, because that's not the way it was intended. It's intended to be fished low and slow, as I call it, do nothing. Now, where and how deep should you be fishing your Ned Rig? If it is summer or winter, find the deepest water you can that has good hard bottom. So it could just be a hard, flat, rocky bottom, could be a rock pile, could be a ledge or a drop off, and throw your Ned Rig there. And if it is spring or fall, find the same type of areas, but just not quite as deep. We recommend keeping the Ned Rig away from grass and wood because it's not a weedless lure, and a drop shot, if rigged correctly, is a better finesse bait for that presentation. So again, keep it on the rocks and hard bottom. And as always, feel free to start with the Bass Forecast recommended location for today to throw the Ned Rig. When it comes to matching the bass's forage, I think the only one that even remotely looks like a Ned Rig is a crawfish. Most crawfish are about the same size as a Ned Rig, and they are bottom feeders. They are bottom dwellers, and the Ned Rig is a lure that should be on the bottom. And the color of most crawfish around the country is some variation of brown or green, and so if that's what they look like, that's what the bass are eating, why would you throw anything else besides some form of green pumpkin? The rod, reel, and line we recommend for a Ned Rig is probably one you already have. If you've got a spinning combo of at least 6'6" in length, medium light in terms of the power, and moderate action, you can have success on a Ned Rig. And the line we recommend is either straight fluorocarbon of very light diameter or a braided line 10 to 20 pound to a monofilament or fluorocarbon leader. The last thing you've got to know about the Ned Rig is that the hook set is super simple as well. At some point during your retrieve, you're going to feel a tick or some pressure down there, and the first step is to lower your rod tip while reeling in your slack, point your rod tip at your bait, and then just lift up and start reeling. There is no need for any kind of aggressive hook set. A swift, strong lift of the rod tip, as long as you've reeled in your slack, will help you land almost every Ned Rig bite you get. We hope this video gives you more confidence in using the Ned Rig so you can adapt to the conditions and catch more bass. And I'll see you out on the water.